And from me, welcome to the programme.
First, the fight for free speech by the family of a Cambridgeshire man killed by a German out-of-hours doctor.
Stuart and Rory Gray are trying to bring Dr Daniel Ubani to justice over the death of their father, David, killed by a lethal dose of a painkiller at his home in Mamie.
Now they claim the doctor was attempting to silence their campaign by using European human rights laws to gag them. Serena Sandhu has more.
Why are you practising in Germany when you've been struck off yesterday?
You're incompetent, you're a convicted killer.
This was the moment that Stuart and Rory Gray challenged the doctor who had killed their father.
I want to listen to what he has to say. What have you got to say?
But now the man responsible, Dr Daniel Ubani, is seeking an injunction that would prevent the brothers from making any public comment about the tragic circumstances surrounding their father's death, silencing them not just in Britain, but across Europe.
He's trying to prevent us saying that he's not fit to practice medicine, which the GMC have found he's clearly not. And he's also trying to prevent us saying that he evaded British justice, which he clearly did. So, yeah, he's trying to strike against the fundamental principle of freedom of speech.
Dr Ubani's lawyers were unavailable to comment today, but it's understood he's using human rights laws to claim that the brothers' campaign to bring him to justice is interfering with his right to practice.
Unfortunately, the law doesn't always accord with what people perceive to be morally right. And so the fact that he's been struck off from practising here, he hasn't been struck off in Germany, and he has the right to earn a living there.
Earlier this morning, I spoke to Rory Gray, who works in Germany, and he told me he's been left dumbfounded by Dr Ubani's actions.
He's allowed to apply for it, and I'm astonished that the German authorities have even considered it. I mean, the issue here, this is not a personal issue, this is an issue of public safety, and public safety must come first.
70-year-old David Gray died at his home in Mamie in Cambridgeshire in February 2008 after Dr Ubani injected him with 10 times the recommended dose of diamorphine. Ubani trained in Nigeria and was on his first shift in the UK. Since then, the brothers have faced a long battle for justice. Last November, Take Care Now, the service that employed Ubani, had its contract with NHS Cambridgeshire terminated. In January, the Greys started a civil case against Dr Ubani. In February, a coroner ruled that David Gray had been unlawfully killed by Ubani's criminal negligence and incompetence. 2 months ago, the brothers travelled to Germany to confront the doctor at a medical conference. They were arrested for trespass despite having paid to attend. Stuart Gray was also charged with verbally assaulting him. Following their campaign, Dr Ubani will now face a disciplinary hearing in Germany. The brothers plan to travel to Bavaria to fight the injunction on Monday. They'll argue that speaking out is not only a fundamental human right, but a necessity to ensure that Dr Ubani can never make the same mistake again. Serena Sandhu, Anglia News.
The girlfriend of a man accused of killing his father and hiding his body under a patio has been giving evidence at his murder trial today.
Setna Nazarbekova told the court about the relationship Mark Alexander had with his father Samuel. It's alleged that after killing the retired university lecturer, his son buried him at the family home in Drayton Parslow near Milton Keynes. Well, from Reading Crown Court, Martin Stew has this report.
Standing by her man, Svetlana Nazarbekova arrived at Reading Crown Court this morning to be questioned about her boyfriend, Mark Alexander, who's accused of killing his father. The prosecution claim he murdered Samuel Alexander, who was 70 years old and severely ill, before dismembering his body and burying it under the patio of their home in Drayton Parslow near Milton Keynes. The court had previously been told that Alexander resented the weight of expectation put on him by his father. Having paid for an expensive education at the rugby school, he wanted his son to focus on grades, not girlfriends. In the witness box, Russian-born Miss Nazarbekova told the court she'd met Alexander at King's College in October 2008, when where the two were studying law. But despite becoming girlfriend and boyfriend soon after, she only met his father once and was never formally introduced as his girlfriend. The prosecution say tensions flared between father and son after Alexander got poor university grades and decided to move in with Miss Nazarbekova rather than going to the prestigious Sorbonne University in Paris. They say at some time between August and February this year, he murdered his father, buried his body under concrete, and then carried out a complex set of deceptions to hide his crime. Alexander denies all charges.
Well, Martin joins us now from Reading Crown Court. Martin, what more did we learn from Alexander's girlfriend about his relationship with his father?
Well, Becky, it's worth noting, first of all, that she is still his girlfriend, so was understandably cagey in the witness box today. But she did paint a very interesting picture of a fractious relationship. She said that Mark Alexander was embarrassed by her dad. When he received a phone call, he'd go into the other room, he'd hide emails from him, and it was generally a very difficult relationship. When asked by the prosecution today, did he ever argue with his father, she said yes. Then asked, was his father someone who was willing to compromise? She said, I don't think he was, which is why she says it was so difficult for Mark to tell his father about his poor grades and about his move to Fleet Street with her.
And did we learn any more about Alexander's alleged attempts to hide his father's disappearance?
Well, yeah, two interesting snippets, really. The first is Christmas cards. Now, that was one of the things which first alerted the neighbours to Samuel Alexander's disappearance. The cards were from him, but they thought the writing was wrong. And when police searched Mark Alexander's flat, they found Samuel Alexander's contact list, evidence they say that he sent the cards as a form of distraction. And the second is a trip to Moscow with his girlfriend in December '09. Now, you must remember that Samuel Alexander went missing sometime between August and February this year. But in December, when in Moscow, his girlfriend said, would you like to buy a present for your dad? And he said, actually, no, I wouldn't. His girlfriend, Miss Nazarbekova, then said throughout the 3-week period, he didn't phone home once during that Christmas time. Now, she'll be cross-examined by the defence on Monday. Mark Alexander denies all the charges.
All right, Martin Stew, thank you for that. Now, if you're thinking about heading to the coast this weekend, there's a warning that high winds blowing offshore on Norfolk and Suffolk beaches tonight and tomorrow could be a danger to beachgoers. The Coast Guard has issued a warning not to use inflatable toy dinghies, rubber rings and airbeds due to these severe winds, as they could easily blow out to sea.